What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode with the
Strikeout Bros, baby. We got episode 21 here. So the name of this episode is gonna be "We're Not Going to Pitch to Him," and we all know who we're talking about. We're talking about Aaron Judge. You know, these teams out here, we're getting smart, and we're not pitching to this guy anymore because this guy's just gonna ruin the game. For the opposing team. We're trying to play smart baseball here. I know, it's a strategy, and it's something that people frown upon, but it is what it is. This is what we have to do. You can't pitch to the big guy because you're gonna end up losing the game. What's going on, Lodge? How's it going, bro?
what's going on, man? Trade deadline has come and gone, and now we're into the second half of the season. This topic is very interesting because if you're an opposing team, why would you pitch to Judge? The Mets, you know why the Mets won those two series against the Yankees? Because they didn't pitch to Judge. If they had pitched to Judge, I guarantee they would have lost one of those two games. He would have either hit a game-tying home run or go at a home run. Who knows? So the Mets played it smart, and then Boston didn't play it smart. And because of that, Yankees managed to sweep Boston. So
No, they didn't sweep them. They lost the
they took
first
two out.
game. Two out of
Yeah.
three. They lost the last two. Boston lost the last two. But
So anyway, Yankees took 2 out of 3. But the point is when you pitch to Judge, you're gonna lose most likely.
yeah, definitely. And we have some numbers for you too. But so this past Sunday, Judge became the first Yankee intentionally walked 3 times in a game since Bernie Williams in 1999, September 26, 1999. And he joined Cleveland's Jose Ramirez as the only major leaguers intentionally walked 3 times in a game in the last 3 seasons. It's pretty crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's respect, That's serious respect. But the Yankees, they failed to score in any of those 3 innings where Judge was walked, right? But they still managed to beat Toronto 4-3. The lineup behind Judge is anemic, so that pretty much means that anything after that, they're not gonna produce runs. So you have Judge on first, and Soto didn't do anything for you. Then guess what? You're not gonna produce any runs. So it's pretty crazy how these teams are like getting, they're having these talks prior to the game. And they're like, we are not gonna pitch to this guy, especially in these pivotal games at the end of the season. When you're trying to get up there and you're trying to stay in the playoff race, and it's pretty crazy. You play any big team, they're not gonna pitch the Judge in the playoffs. He's not gonna get pitched to. It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's respect and it's kind of crazy at the same time. I don't know. Tell me what you think, Lars. It's kind of, I don't know.
Well, it's a chess move because the problem is you can't walk back to back Judge and Soto, so you got to pitch to one of the two. So you got to say to yourself, who can hurt me more, Judge or Soto? The answer is both, but lately it's been Judge more than Soto. Soto, when he gets into one, he gets into one, but he's more of a strikeout hitter than Judge is. Judge, if he doesn't get the hit, he'll either fly out or get a base hit. So the teams are smart, and then they're just saying, well, you know what? Let me just walk the guy. And if you're Aaron Judge, yeah, you hate it. But guess what? If I know you're gonna walk me, that's great because that's energy I don't have to use. I can conserve the energy for something else. You know what I mean? I'll use it. You know what I mean? As you get longer into the season, these players get more fatigued. They're more injury prone. So if I know I don't have to sit up there and try and swing because they're just gonna walk me. All right, cool. And I know I'm not gonna steal base. I'm not gonna run I'll run the bases if it's like a hit or something. But other than that, it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt Judge. It doesn't hurt the other team. The only way it hurts the other team if they give up a home run to Soto. Now they just gave up a 2-run bomb. So now it's 2-0 versus 1-0. It depends on what the score is. So yeah, it's smart. And I know you were saying over here, Soto wasn't happy because Aaron Boone has been calling it the Aaron Judge treatment. Basically, they're saying like, oh, he's getting specialty treatment because he's the captain and it's not fair. Why does no one else treat me like that? Things like that. But Aaron Judge is homegrown. They got to protect him. Soto's on a 1-year prove-it deal. It's not even guaranteed that they're going to re-sign Soto. So, the Yankees are smart about it. The other teams know about what they got to do against Judge. So, yeah, Soto might not like it. But if you're Soto, I'd use that as motivation. All right, you're going to walk my guy? All right, cool. Watch this. you're going to pay the price. I'm going to hit a bomb and make you suffer because you walked my guy.
Yeah,
So,
but you're right. But the numbers speak for themselves, though. So check this out. So like Judge, he's been intentionally walked 11 times, right? Four in the past two games, right? So it's pretty crazy because he has the high on the team. Him and Soto are tied for the most walks, right? So 92 walks between, amongst both of them. So they both have 92 walks, right? So they're obviously gonna get on base. The problem is there's no damage behind them. So they're not gonna score because behind those guys there's nothing happening. So it's a super anemic lineup, right? And the numbers are crazy, right? So the cleanup batters behind Judge are batting 217. All right, that's pretty crazy. So after the second half started, Judge is 9 for 16. That's a 563 average with 3 home runs in the second half with runners in scoring position, right? And then the rest of the Yankees are 22 for 122. That's a 180 average with 5 home runs. So the numbers speak for themselves. So the opposing team is doing the right thing, right? If you want to win a game, you want to stay competitive during that matchup, you don't pitch to this guy. And it's crazy. Soto says, we don't like that. We want to see what Judge can do. Yeah, but you know what? It's a strategy. But he, at the same time, he says he understands it's part of the game. So which one is it, Soto? You understand it or you hate it. You have to pick a side. You have to try to figure that out. I just want to, stop and say that Baltimore just won 7-3, and you guys are still in the fight. I love it. But the Yankees made a lot of big moves in there, during the trade deadline, and they picked up Chisholm. So the first three guys in that lineup are a force because Jazz has just turned into an animal, and he really likes being there. And they have controllability. He's gonna be there for a while, and it's gonna pretty much stay the same if Soto sticks around. So they have to figure out what's wrong with the rest of the lineup. The 4 through 9. But the Yankees, they won 9 out of 15 since the All-Star break, winning 5 in a row, sweeping the Phillies. They took the last two out of the Boston series, and they swept the Phillies. So it's pretty crazy. And tonight, I believe they're playing a doubleheader against the Angels. I haven't been keeping tabs on that. I'm pretty sure Lasha has. What's going on over there?
yeah, so Yankees played a doubleheader. They took the first game against the Los Angeles Angels. I believe it was like 4-0, and now they're losing the second game 8-2 in the top of the ninth. So one thing I've noticed with doubleheaders, it's very rare that either team sweeps the doubleheader. It's always a split. It's one thing. I don't know why that is, but for an Orioles fan, I'm happy. Baltimore won. They're stressing me out lately because the pitching staff is hurt. They lost Grayson Rodriguez, another starter. They've lost 4 starters now this regular season. I don't care who you get, but I know I'm making excuses because everyone has injuries, but you need starters to win the game. It doesn't matter how many runs your team scores. If your pitching can't hold the other team down, then pitching beats good offense. So the Mets have injuries. They have issues with their relief staff and pitching, and so do the Yankees. So it's the same story all around. This is why I really think this is another reason why I think they should have moved the trade deadline back, because it forced more teams that were realistically not buyers to be sellers, and you could have forced your hand on the buyers and be like, oh, you really want Scuba? All right, well, give me this, and that. Give me your 5. Give me your top 3 prospects, and whatever, another star player, whatever, and I'll give you, whoever you want. But because at the end of July, everyone's still in it, not, technically everyone's still alive. If you want to go mathematically, it made it so that more teams were buyers than sellers. So it just made it harder for teams that are trying to sell. Like, I have so many people to choose from. Why am I going to just sell it if there's no obvious team? I want a team that's desperately hungry and know they need this guy. Without him, they're not going to win the World Series. But no team showed like that. So that's why a lot of these big star pitchers that we thought were going to get traded did not get traded. But anyway, as far as the Yankees go, going back to the Yankees, they acquired Mark Leiter Jr. He's the cousin of Jack Leiter, who's the son of Al Leiter. I know it's a big tree, and
It is.
Mark Leiter is the nephew of Al Leiter. He came over from the Chicago White Sox, the Chicago Cubs, excuse me. In his first outing with the Yankees, he kind of blew the lead. They ended up winning the game. It was against Philadelphia, but other than that, I think he'll be a good arm. They definitely need bullpen help. Clay Holmes has been offered for them, so they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, they've been using him, heavily, and he seems to be, happy in that new position. I mean, he's
Yeah,
doing his thing. Like he's pretty much lights out. He's having fun, and they needed that help. They really did. But let's talk about, you know, the other side of town, the New York
the
Mets.
Metropolitans, the OMGs.
Right, exactly the
Right?
OMGs.
So
I don't like
it's
to use that term. I don't like to use that term, but
why not?
everybody's using it. I don't like it. Listen, we're having a good season. The season is, for me as a Met fan, I feel like the season, is it's been extended, right? Because usually around this time we're not relevant, But you have to
Yeah.
understand that, this year we're starting to show signs of, what we're used to again. And the problem with the Mets is that, we were in the wild card race and we were holding it down. We started at 3 and then we worked our way up to 1 and then we lost it. Now we're looking from the outside in, trying to scrape wins. And the thing about the Mets right now is that we're winning a lot of games and we're still playing well, but we're losing against bottom of the barrel teams, And this is the problem. Like, go ahead, go ahead. I want to hear it from your side because I have a lot to say, but you were about to say something, and I want to hear it because you're looking at my team from a different perspective, and it's always good to hear.
Well, I was just gonna say it's frustrating because you gotta beat the teams that are not teams that you should be under 500 teams, like the Colorados of the world, the Chicago's of the world, the Torontos of the world, so on, the Angels of the world. You got to beat these teams, especially if you want to catch up to San Diego, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the St. Louis Cardinals. These are just teams that are in the wild card division in race for the with the Mets. The last three wild card spots and Atlanta. And another thing is, you really need to win because Atlanta is playing good teams. They're playing Milwaukee, and they're getting smoked by Milwaukee. They lost yesterday. I'm sure. I haven't looked at the schedule today, but they're struggling. They have problems up the wazoo. And if you're the Mets, you got to take advantage. Because if the Mets win these games against Colorado and Atlanta loses, guess who's in second place in the division? The New York Mets. Someone
Yeah,
that I didn't expect to be in second place.
yeah, but you have to
But,
understand. No, it's bad because San Diego came out of nowhere. They got hot.
yep.
They got really hot, right? And Arizona showing signs of we want to go back. We want to go back to the playoffs. This is the
In the
second
World
year
Series.
in the World Series, exactly. So it's crazy how these teams were looking in, and now we're excuse my language, we're the guys looking in now. And it
Hmm.
makes me sick. You see how frustrated I am, and the thing is that when we play big teams that are in the fight, and we can
In playoff contention.
yeah, exactly. In contention, we destroy those guys. The pitching is always there. We hit the ball. We score a lot of runs, but we can't. We can't even score 4 runs against these, you know, lesser opponents. It's crazy to me. I don't understand it. It's like we're like playing down to the level of competition. It doesn't make any sense to me. Look, we started off the second half and we split a 4-game series with the Miami Marlins, right? That's
Hmm.
insane to me. We're supposed to
Sweep
destroy.
him. It's like three out
Exactly.
of four.
Exactly, right? And then we end up doing the same thing with the Angels. The Angels took 2 out of 3 from us. How is that happening? It doesn't make any sense to me. It bothers me. All right? We play really well against these teams, right? These big teams, the Yankees, everybody else, everybody that means something. We do well, but then when it comes to these teams that we're supposed to destroy, we can't do it. It doesn't make any sense. And this is why I know that we're not going to make the playoffs. This is why I know we're not going to make the playoffs. There's something wrong there. There's something that doesn't make any sense. And I know they can't understand it. Why is it that they can't produce runs when it should be easy to just run through these teams? These teams haven't won a lot of games all season, so why can't they do it?
Well, in my opinion, I think what happens is in my opinion, it could be psychological because in your mind, you're like, this team's not gonna play hard. Colorado's done. There's 70,000 games under 500. Chicago's 1,000 games under 500. Guess what? We could just take our foot off the gas and go easy. And then before you know it, oh yeah, go easy. And guess what? Now they scored 7 runs on you. And before you know it, now you're trying to catch up because, it's like a track meet race. You don't think you don't think the fat guy behind you is going to catch you. And so you kind of like lollygag the first 50 meters of the
Yeah.
dash. And then before you know it, a fat guy's ahead of you and like, what happened? You can't sleep on these teams, man. Because remember, these guys are professional athletes too. They're not playing bums. They getting paid a lot of money to play. Yeah, they might not like losing. They're on a losing team, but guess what? They want to win too. They get paid just like the Lindors of the world, the Alonsos, Severinos of the world. They get paid. So does the Mets. So guess what? Every win they get, it helps them.
Yeah,
So
it's a personal resume. I understand that.
yeah,
Personal resumes. That's how I see it. Listen, if I'm on a bum ass team and we suck, I'm still gonna give you 100% every single day. You know why? Because I want to show you that I'm, worthy of being in the major leagues. But you have to understand this is bothering me. Like, okay, so last night we lost 6-3. We can't even score 4 runs in a game. It's crazy. Right now we're losing. No, it's tied. It's tied. All right, we're winning
oh,
two to
that's
one.
good.
It's tied right now, 2-2. If we lose this game, oh man, like seriously, I don't think we have a shot. I don't think we have a shot. We're just showing the same signs that we always, put up. We played. We started the season horribly. Then we figured it out. We got back in the race. The stadium is packed, and now all of a sudden we're showing signs of, yeah, guess what? Maybe next year. And I can't stand it. It's hard being a Mets fan. And it's crazy because then I look at your team, and your team is struggling. The injuries are killing you. All right, you have 2 teams. Atlanta can't handle the injuries, right? So they're struggling to stay afloat, right? And then you have Baltimore, who has uh, probably the most injuries in the major leagues
For the
this year.
pitching
Exactly,
wise,
exactly. Pitching
position
wise,
players are good.
exactly. Pitching wise, and you guys are still in the race, and you're fighting hard. You know what? And it's crazy because you guys lose and Yankees lose, so it's
We win,
helping
the Yankees win, and it's
win.
just a seesaw.
It's a seesaw effect, and this is the problem with the seesaw effect. When the season is coming to an end, like you can't have that problem. But the Mets are definitely not going to make the playoffs. I'm telling you right now, I'm ready for it, and I'm not going to be disappointed because it's what happens every year. It happens every single year, and the pitching has been great. So it's not the pitching because it's not like they're destroying us. We just can't produce runs when we play these teams. It's crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. San Diego, Arizona, they won 8 out of their last 10. Both of these teams are on fire. They want to stay up there. They're getting hot at the right time. A little bit of luck and getting hot at the right time takes you places. You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. But going back to the Mets, it's funny because the one guy that was struggling in the beginning, he's turned it around, has been Lindor. He's been lights out in this, since April or May, whatever it was. And then, but everybody else, Alonso's kind of been disappointing. Nemo's kind of gotten a little cooler. McNeil has been.
Yes.
McNeil, if you saw him in the street, be like, he's on my team. You wouldn't even know who he is because he's just been so quiet with his bat, and defensively, he's not even doing all that great either. But the problem is you can't have the same problem the Mets have, or the same problem Yankees have. They're relying on 2 guys to carry the whole team, and the Mets are relying on one guy to carry the whole team essentially, because he's the only one producing, and the pitching staff, I guess. And you can't do that. Eventually, he's going to get cooled. Lindor is going to cool down, or God forbid he gets hurt. Not saying I don't want that. You know what I mean? I don't think he will. But still, you need these. The guy that disappoints me the most is Pete Alonso, man. I like the guy. He's great. He's good with the fans. He's good with the team. He's not a problem child. You could tell he wants to be a New Yorker for life. He loves it, but he's just not producing, and it's gonna hurt him because
It's
He's
the
not going to come
money.
back to the Mets.
It's the money. It's the money. Listen,
Yeah.
if you would have signed this contract prior to the season starting, we wouldn't have these problems. He would have been a more relaxed player. He would have been able to produce and not think about, oh well, I need to produce these, you know, 30 home runs and I need to get 20 doubles. I need to do something spectacular to get this amazing contract. But they offered you money, but you were being greedy. So this hurts the team. But the thing is that this team is very electric, all right? It's like they feed off each other, all right? And they have really good chemistry. All right, so I understand what you're saying, but that only happens when we're playing these bottom of the barrel teams. Because when we're playing big teams, there's something happening in that clubhouse where they're like, all right, these guys are tough. We're going to show them how tough we are. All right, and, you know, these guys that we have on our team, they aren't household names. All right, you have to understand that. We Stearns did an amazing job of putting these guys together. All right, because they all have these little special talents, but when they're playing a big team, they really connect and they work together and they shut it down and they show these guys who they are. I love that team, but you know when you're playing the Angels, you're playing the Marlins, you're playing Colorado, you have to be able to take advantage of the easy schedule. You know, I was reading up on, you know, the schedule today, and apparently we have the fourth easiest schedule in the National League. Explain to me why we're not on top of that wild card. And a week ago, we were like 8 games out of the first slot in the division because the Phillies have been struggling too. You know, the Phillies are a veteran team that's really good at what they do. But you know what? They're older and they get hurt a lot. You know, so they were hot for a while, and we were supposed to take advantage while we were doing our thing. But it seems like we don't want to do anything with it right now. We don't want to win. We don't want to win. It's insane to me. And I know these guys they hate themselves right now because I don't think that they understand what's really happening. You know, I don't think they understand. The pitching has been phenomenal. Everybody said, "Oh, we're looking at the rotation right now prior to the season starting, and we don't think this rotation has what it takes." And all of these guys have been going 7 innings. All right, Manai is going 7 innings. Severino, his last two starts have been funny, but he's been, you know, a workhorse. All right, and then we get Blackburn from Oakland, and Blackburn has been amazing. You know, the funny story about Blackburn is that a week prior to getting traded to the Mets, he pitched in Anaheim in an Oakland A's uniform against this team. And then a week later, he ended up in the same exact position in a Mets uniform, pitching against the same exact team. It's
Oh
pretty
wow,
crazy.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know
pretty.
that.
Yeah,
And
it's pretty.
he did was horrible when he pitched with the Mets.
He did. He did amazing against the Mets. He pitched like 6 innings.
Oh
Uh,
good.
he gave up 1 run, 82 pitches. He did a really good job. You know, 2 walks. All right, he struck out 6. He did his thing. You know, and it's funny because you have to worry. You have to say, "Damn, a week ago I pitched against this team, so they got a good look at me." And then the following week, he's in a different uniform, pitching against the same exact team, and he was able to produce. All right, you know, after seeing Kodai Senga in his debut do an amazing job, and then fall apart and shelved for the rest of the season. They're talking about, oh yeah, you know, if we make the postseason, he might be able to pitch for us. Get out of here.
No, I heard October maybe at
Yeah,
best.
Exactly, October maybe. Guess what? There's 2 games in October in the regular season. He's not pitching for us for the rest of the season. But you know what happened? This is the funny thing about it. Senga, due to the fact that he wasn't able to reach the 400 innings mark, right? Because he's been hurt, right? Right now he's at 171. You know, so this is the he's unable to opt out of his contract because he was supposed to hit 400 innings to be able to opt out of his contract. So now we have controllability until 2027 at $15 million per season. I like that. You
That's
know,
a good deal. So
that's
actually, it
a,
was a blessing in the disguise.
yeah.
Yeah, you lost your ace, but it's great because now you have controllability. Now the thing is was he gonna? If he did hit the market, was he? I'm guaranteed the Mets would have re-signed him more than Alonso. So I wasn't worried about that.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. But let's move on. Let's stop talking about the Metropolitans because we already know what's going to happen. They're not going to make the postseason. And I'm a diehard Met fan. And, I'm telling you how I feel and what's happening, and I can see it already. I can see it. It's unfolding right in front of my eyes. But it's okay. It's okay. Maybe next year. Like, that's just what we always say. Maybe next year. We should all be wearing orange and blue t-shirts that say maybe next year. But whatever. Let's talk about the Chicago White Sox. They're laughing right now. I heard
Oh
that.
boy.
I heard that. Let's talk about the Chicago White Sox. All right. They went on a streak, right? And the streak wasn't a good one either. 21 games.
Ouch.
21 games, all right? And guess what? They tied the 1988 who? Baltimore Orioles,
Oh
your team,
jeez.
all right? For, in American League
I was a
history,
year old.
21 games in a row. Can you imagine being on a team like this? I understand you're getting paid big bucks, but nobody wants to lose like that. That's crazy to me, right? So we're going to discuss, you know, these streaks, these horrible streaks, all right? Because it's crazy. Because after I looked that up, I said, you know what? I have to look up how bad of a streak, is out there. Like, so there's records out there,
Yeah.
So the longest streak, 26 games, bro, by the Louisville Colonels. All right, they've been keeping
Wow.
tabs since like I think like 1960 on these things, So but whatever. 26 games in a row. Imagine losing 26 games in a row. Do you want to come to work?
No.
You don't.
But
You don't.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, Chicago's streak ended yesterday. They beat Oakland, so
Yes.
that streak is
Yes.
snapped.
Yeah.
But it's reminding me of Baltimore. Even just in the last, in the early 2000s, they've been awful. They had a lot of long losing streaks like that. So I'm kind of getting re-traumatized because I'm used to it and I know what it feels like. And as a fan, you just stop watching the game, stop listening, and you don't even care anymore.
Exactly. Imagine if you're a
And it
fan.
sucks.
Why tune in? Why? Why are you tuning in? You already know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
You know? It's crazy.
But 26 games. Now, that Orioles team that lost in 21, I believe they were able to come back and make the playoffs. I could be wrong. I got to look that up. But
Yeah, so check this out. So 23 games the Philadelphia Phillies in 1961, right? 21 games in 2024 the Chicago White Sox. We just talked about that. 1988 the Baltimore Orioles lost 21 games in a row. All right. Then we have the 69 Montreal Expos. They lost 20 games in a row. In 1943, the Philadelphia Athletics lost 20 games in a row. They did it in 1916 as well. The Boston Americans, I wonder what that hat looks like. 1906 lost 20 games in a row. Then the Baltimore Orioles in 2021 lost 19 games in a row. 3 years later, look at them now. That's crazy, right? You lost, in 2021, the Baltimore Orioles lost 19 games in a row. And look at them now. It's pretty crazy. But the Chicago White Sox, they're in pace on pace to lose 123 games. That's crazy. All right, that's crazy. They're 41 games behind Cleveland right now. There's no way. There's no way this is happening to them. All right, they're professionals, right? But let's be serious. This is happening out there. I can't even understand that.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's not good for baseball. This is why baseball's losing fans. You can't have teams just constantly just mailing it in and just not performing. The Angels and the Orioles in the past. Even the Pirates in the past. They just the Kansas City Royals. They're just those teams that are just perpetually bad every year, and you knew which teams they were, and everyone would laugh at you and everyone would make fun of you. My dad always joke around, "Hey, Lash, looks like we're gonna beat you up tonight." I say, "Yeah, you're probably right, pops, or whatever." But we did it in a loving way. But Now he can't say that no more, and he's like, "Wow, man." So the joke's on me, but it's not good for baseball, man. It's like I said, I always believe once you're 10 games under 500, it's very hard for you to come
It's
back.
over. It's over.
Yeah, a month
It's
into the
over.
season, forget it.
It's over.
It's just I don't know how an organization could put out a product like that and say this is the best you have. It's like, really? Is
It's
this
not
what
the
you best
best.
have?
You didn't want to spend any money. And you
Yeah,
know what? The general
or
manager's trash.
yeah,
The general manager's trash. He's trash.
and you also gotta say your analytic because everything is on analytics now. Your analytic department is trash, and your owner is cheap, like you said, and doesn't want to spend money. I'm starting to think that Chicago Cubs might be one of those teams that if they put a new team, expansion team, either Oakland or Chicago are gonna be a new team that's gonna be moved to another city, and I would not be surprised. Why not? You know what I mean? That stadium that they've been at has been there for a long time. I think it was a guarantee rate. I forgot the name of the stadium. Anyway, it's been there for a
I mean,
while.
it was Comiskey for a while. Is it still Comiskey?
No,
I don't
that's the
think it
Detroit
stopped.
Lions.
No. Comiskey. Oh, that was the White Sox park for a long time back in the day. I'm not sure what it's called now.
It was called U.S. Cellular. That's right, U.S. Cellular.
That's what it's
They're
called.
they're the ones that have jails in their stadium. That's what I remember. But anyway, the point is if they're that bad, and they're worse than the Oakland Athletics. You know, at least the Oakland Athletics they have some decent players
No, they
that actually
do.
show up and they're actually doing okay. You know what I mean? They managed to beat the crap out of the White Sox the other day. So,
But listen,
um,
that's the
it's
same
just
team that'll
yeah,
sweep the Mets right now. You understand
yep.
what I'm saying? This
Or
is the
take two
type.
out three from Baltimore.
Exactly. This is the same team that will sweep the Mets right now because they're so bottom of the barrel that they'll sweep the Mets because the Mets have a hard time beating teams like this. The same. This is the same conversation we were having 2 minutes ago. It's crazy. But you know what? We're gonna move on. Let's go into a different avenue and let's talk about Blake Snell. Interesting guy. So this guy gets signed late because he's a Scott Boras client, and then he ends up with the Giants, and he pitches a couple of games, gets hurt, comes back, and decides that he needs to show people who he really is, and he throws a no hitter against the Reds.
Uh,
That's pretty crazy to me. And you know what? At the perfect time too. Because it's the perfect time for me because I say, damn, the Giants should have got rid of him. The Giants were really good in the beginning of the season, but are the Giants going anywhere now? Definitely not.
no.
Exactly. So, you know, a couple of weeks too late, right? Because if we would have did that prior to the trade
He would have
deadline,
been a trade bait.
oh yeah, all right. Yankees maybe. You never
They were
know.
in talks with him. The Dodgers wanted him. The
Yeah,
Yankees,
yeah. But if you would have pulled this
Orioles.
off, yeah, if you would have pulled this off prior to that line, maybe he would have been wearing a different uniform. But
Gonna
that's
get
the
a better package.
exactly. It's funny how that works, right? That's funny how that works. And the crazy thing about the Giants is, right, that they have pulled off 18 solo no hitters in their franchise history. That,
Wow.
that's crazy, right? 18. All right, so we're gonna break that down too. So singular, right? Solo adventures where nobody else came in, no combined no hitters. We're talking about one man going up there saying, throwing, like what 80 practice pitches prior to the game start, and warming up, and then going in there and shutting the opposing team down. It's an impressive feat, and we're gonna break down who has the most no hitters by a singular pitcher in the league. So the Dodgers, of course the Dodgers. The Dodgers have 22 of those.
Wow.
And we just finished talking trash about this team. The White Sox have 19 in second place. How so? Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. And then we have San Francisco, with Blake Snell pulling that off the other day. Now they have 18. Cincinnati, another team that is tied with the Bo Sox for 17. The Cubs have 16. The Guardians, well, they weren't the Guardians when a lot of
Indians.
those happened. The Indians, 14. And then we have a nice little spread here, right? And I like this collection of teams here. With 13 no hitters, there's 4 teams: the Astros, the Phillies, the Braves, and the Yankees. They have 13. And then the Oakland Athletics have 12. How crazy is that, right?
The
These
two
are
teams this year that are tanking are in the top for most perfect no hitters.
How crazy is that? That's insane to me, right? It's kind of weird,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, bro. It's kind of weird how that works.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But, we always, salute, the gunslinger of the week. And obviously, it's going to be Blake Snell. He goes 9 innings, no hits, obviously. 11 strikeouts. Listen, you can go through a no-hitter and, have a great game. And, the defense helps out a lot. But this guy was doing it pretty much on his own. 27 outs in the game, and he took care of 11 of them on his own. So what the hell was happening there, right? Pretty crazy. What was happening
What a game
there?
that must have been.
Yeah, can you imagine?
And he actually pitched all 9 innings. It's not like a combined hitter. Like
No, it's not. Yes, it's a solo. All those are solo. All those are solo. Everything we spoke about just now were all solos. Not a combined no-hitter, all solos. It's pretty crazy. And then the hit of the week, I want you to,
the hitter was Rob Refsnyder. He's with the Boston Red Sox on Saturday, August 3rd, in a loss, unfortunately, to the Texas Rangers. He went 4 for 4, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, a walk, 3 RBIs, 2 runs, and a stolen base. I don't like to choose hitters in a losing game, but he basically carried that whole team, and they still managed to lose.
That's crazy. So he got on base 5 times.
4 times.
No, and don't forget about the
walk. Yeah,
don't forget about the walk. He got on base
that's
5
5.
times.
Okay, yeah.
All right? So, that's a lot. That's serious action right there. All right? And he gets 2 home runs in that game on top of that? Nah, come on, man. He deserves to be up there. He deserves it. Salute. But
Rob Refsnyder.
Oh, man, that's crazy. All that work he put in, and they still lost. Whatever. But they're still relevant, though. These guys are still, fighting for a position in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I'll guarantee you they'll be there, unlike the Mets. But whatever. We're not going to talk about that. Hopefully the Mets surprise me. But we're coming to the end of the show, and I always have a, little trivia from my man Lasha. He never asked me questions because, you know what? He's the mind. So
I do have a question afterwards. So.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yep, it's a surprise question.
Wow. The Mets are not going to make the playoffs. That's my answer. But anyway.
No, not the question.
Oh, okay. But, so what is the most runs scored in an MLB season? All right, so you don't have to tell me the number. If you can't, I'm pretty sure you can't, because that's like hitting the lotto. But I want you to tell me the team. All right, and then if you can tell me, so it's a 3-way question. So,
3-part question.
3-part question, right? So you can either tell me the team, you can tell me what year, or you can tell me the number of runs. And if you can do any combination of that, I'm gonna be happy. All right. So the most runs scored in an MLB season, and this number is insane. I just want to put that out there.
Well, I'm gonna talk through it. So just you don't have to say yes or no. Just let me talk through it.
Yeah. Of course.
So if you had the most runs scored in a season, I'd have to think you're in the upper echelons of over 1,000 runs for the year. Okay. Well, no, that's a little too high. I take that back. You'd have to be scoring at like 20 runs a game, so I take that back. So let's just say, I say plus 500 run differential. Is that what the question was?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So
Yeah.
basically, it's the most runs scored in the MLB season. So yeah, so
Oh,
right
the
now,
most amount of runs. Okay, okay. So I'll go
yeah,
back. The
so right
most
now,
runs scored. Okay, so it could be 1,000. I'm just thinking of run differential, so I got
no,
the
no,
two
but
confused.
1,000 is a serious team now. So you have to understand that we're coming to the end of the season, and right now, like teams are up in the 500s. All right, not 600, but like some of them are midway to 600. You know, they have 560. You know, like we can look that up right now. To be
I'm looking
honest.
at right now. So
Okay, so tell me what the
the
numbers are right now. The highest one, who is number one right now?
so
Who's
number
the
one is the Yankees at 590,
we see? That's
and
crazy.
Baltimore has the second highest at 585, followed by I guess Philadelphia at 549.
See, that's
Yeah.
crazy. All right, so you
So
see those
yeah,
numbers, right? So imagine with whatever's left of the season, which is like probably high
30 plus
40s,
games, high 40
exactly,
games.
high 40, right? Imagine you said 1,000. You said 1,000, right?
So I make
So, so that's a
yeah.
lot. That's imagine what kind of we're scoring
All right. So I'm
20
gonna come
runs a
down.
game. You're gonna come down.
I'm gonna
Interesting.
say 850.
Wow, 850.
Team wise, I'm gonna say it's a team that was in the early 2000s, mid
Mm,
2000s.
okay, okay.
Uh, the team I could think of would be, even though they cheated, in my opinion, either the Astros or the Nationals the year that they won the World Series in 2019. Those would be
Interesting.
my two choices.
Wow.
I was gonna go with the Astros because they cheated and they were able to score runs because they knew what was coming,
Mm,
and they scored a lot of runs that year. So I'm gonna go with the 2019. I think that was the year they cheated, or 2018, whatever year was they call it cheating. Astros with 850.
wow. So no.
All
So
that work for
hold on.
no.
No, but that was good. The brainstorming was amazing. I love it. I love it. But it was the Cleveland Indians, right? And the number
Oh
is
wow.
insane. The number was 1,009
Oh, I
runs.
was right. I said
Yeah, you
thousands.
did. You started off
Oh man, I
right.
should have stayed on
I
the
know, but can
course.
you imagine what kind
Do
of
they have like Jim Tomey and who they have?
they had? I can't remember that team really well, but
What
you know
year
what?
was
I think
that?
that 1999
Oh yeah, they definitely had Tomey.
they had told me, right?
I
And
think so.
but
Yeah.
how crazy is that, right? For a team to be
Then
able
they
to
have
produce
Roberto
that many
Alomar
runs,
Jr.
I think so. We can look that up. Let's look that up right now. Let's look that up right now. Could get faster at that than I am. So let's look that up right now. Let's look up that 1999 Cleveland Indians. They scored 1,009 runs that year. All right, that's crazy, right? And oh my God, that's crazy. And I believe the second team behind that was like 943 runs scored, if I remember correctly. Because I remember kind of like looking that up, but those numbers are crazy for a team to be able to produce that many runs. You know, it's pretty crazy.
The crazy part about that is their record, according to Baseball Reference, they were 77 and 85. They scored that many runs, but they finished under 500. That's
Oh
interesting.
wow, did they really? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Then you said 1990 Cleveland
Like
Indians.
no, 1999, 99.
Oh, hold on. Let me look. 19. Okay. See, this is why we got to work. This is why we got to work through it. Yeah,
1990.
they had Bartolo Colon on the team.
Oh
They had
man,
Alex Ramirez, David Berber, Jim Tomey, Russell Branyan, Carlos Baraga. I remember Russell Branyan. That sounds familiar. David, you remember David Justice? I love David
of
Justice.
course,
He
classy,
was.
classy.
They had David Roberts. You remember him, the manager of the Dodgers.
Oh yeah,
They had
I
Omar
do.
Vizquel, Richie Sexton. Man, this was a good team.
Yeah, 1,000.
Jacob Cruz, Richie Sexton, Tyler Hutz, Houston, I was right, Roberto Alomar.
Yeah,
Big Sexy, Bartolo Colon. Let me look at their record before we hang up. So their record at that year was what was their record? No, that can't. No, that's not right. No, hold up. 1999. I'm looking up their record. See what their record was. 97-65. That makes sense.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
that is crazy. That was a powerhouse right there.
Yeah. Didn't that? Isn't that that movie
Major League, right?
yeah, Major League 1 and 2. That's a great, but that was before the 90s. That was like in the 70s, I think. Or
No, it
the
wasn't that.
70s.
No, it's not that old. It's not that old because I remember
No,
that
no, no.
movie.
But it was about the.
Oh, that team in the. Okay, I got no. I
Yeah, it
forget
wasn't
that.
about the 90s teams. Yeah, I don't think so. Now I'm gonna want to go watch that movie when I'm done with this.
It's pretty crazy. That movie was great. I love that movie. The movie.
I gotta watch it.
I love the characters in that movie were great.
Isn't
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen? Thank you. I was just about to.
Yes,
Yes,
Charlie
he
Sheen.
was good. Wow.
That
Well,
movie
man,
was 1989. That's when that movie
it
dropped.
was about to. Came out in '89, but it was about like the '70s or '80s Indians probably. But anyway, that's a good movie, man. There's a lot of. One of these days, we should just do a top 5 baseball movies. You have your list, and I do my list.
Oh, that would be
And
great.
rattle
We can
them
do that.
off
Yeah, we can
baseball
definitely do
movies
that. We can do that in the next episode.
in the next episode.
I won't even tell you right now what I think, but
No, I'm not gonna
but
tell you.
wait,
I'm gonna come up with my own.
Yeah, definitely. I only have a few. I don't have a lot of them, but movies that I watched.
I
over
have
and over
2
as a
good
kid.
ones right off the top of my
Me too.
head.
Me too. Right off the top of my head.
3
Movies-
actually.
3? Well, nah, I have 2 for sure.
I got 3.
2 that I watched over and over and over again. I mean, there's 3 actually. You're right. There are 3, but 2 that I watched so many times.
I could probably name off 4. How about you name your 2 right now, and I'll name. Let's go.
No. We're gonna save that for next week.
Why?
Tune in.
Ah.
Tune in.
All
But
right, sounds
but
good.
we're coming to the end of the show, and we want to say thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you, man.
All right.
See you next week.
Peace, brother.